In this video, you're going to learn the 5 things that I wish I knew before I started building in Bubble. My name is Seth. I'm the founder of No Code MBA, a learning platform teaching you how to build no-code apps using Bubble, AI, Webflow, and all sorts of other no-code tools. So the first tip that I wish that I knew before I started building in Bubble is the plugin Hero Icons. So Hero Icons are a really nicely designed icon set by the makers of Tailwind CSS. And here you can see the icon set here. And it's a free plugin that you can use in Bubble. And it gives you access to all of these icons that you can use directly in your app. And I think that they look nicer than the default Bubble icons that they provide you. So this is the first thing that I wish that I knew, and I recommend you using this icon set in your apps as well. The next thing that I wish I knew was more about privacy rules. So what privacy rules allow you to do is protect data that is personal to a user or to a company that that's using your app. And what you can do is build rules around your database to add privacy so that it's not visible by anyone. So for example, someone who knows a little bit of code could go into your Bubble app and actually export the data that isn't protected here. So one example of something that you might want to do is here in the privacy table under users. So by default, everything is going to be visible by everyone. So what Bubble is telling you is you need to create a rule if you want to restrict access. So here under the users table, what you might want to do is uncheck everyone else to view all fields. Now, something that you need to be careful about here with privacy rules is sometimes it might break some of the workflows that you've created, because if you restrict privacy to certain accounts, it might potentially make some of the workflows that you're creating not work. So you need to go back and edit and adjust the privacy rules. So this is something that could be an entirely different video to go over in a lot more detail. But just know this is something you should keep in mind and learn more about as you are building in Bubble. The next thing that I wish I knew more about was how to use the debugger in Bubble. So the debugger can be accessed when you're previewing your app in development mode. And in the URL here, what you need is to add a question mark and then debug_mode equals true. And as long as you're logged into your Bubble account, you're going to have this debugger mode enabled. So there's a few things that you can do in the debugger mode, and again, this could be a whole video to learn more about, but this is just an introduction so that you can start thinking about the things that you want to learn more about as you build in Bubble. But there's 3 different modes. So normal is just going to run all your workflows like normal. Slow is going to run them slowly and show you the step-by-step, which I'll do in a second. And then step-by-step is going to allow you to go step-by-step through your workflows and see where something might not be working. So let's say I click reset password under step-by-step. So what I'm going to do, you can see the workflow that I have built is to show a reset password pop-up. So I'm going to run next. There we go. And you can see we run it next, and there we go. And that's really useful when something isn't working in your app and you need to debug and see, okay, where is that data coming from? Is the data showing up the way that I expect it to be showing up? And if it's not, what is going wrong? So the debugger is really, really useful for that. You also can inspect different elements, and this can also be useful for dynamic data. If you're expecting, certain text to show up, but it's not, you can inspect that element and see what's happening, check the conditional formatting, different things like that. So this is a really useful thing to learn more about and know how to use. The next thing that I wish I knew more about before I started building in Bubble is server logs. Server logs allow you to see a step-by-step log of what users are doing in your app. It's really helpful for debugging as well, especially when you're using back-end workflows, and that means you can't use that debugger we were just using in the front end, because that debugger can only work in the front end. So the logs is where you can see what's happening in your back-end workflows. So it's a really helpful thing to know how to do. The last thing that I wish I knew before I started building in Bubble is about this feature to cancel workflows. This is really, really important to know how to do. So if you have backend workflows going, and let's say you have it going recursively, meaning it's going to keep calling itself. That would mean that if you accidentally make a mistake in the way that you've set up your backend recursive workflow, it could go into an infinite loop and keep running over and over and over again. So what you want to do is go to the scheduler. Here you can also see all of the future scheduled workflows. Now, if you're brand new to Bubble, you might not be super familiar with what a scheduled workflow is. This is something where you can schedule backend workflows, meaning you can schedule an action to happen in your app at a future point. And here you can see all of them, and then you can also go ahead and pause them or just cancel all of them, which is something that you would need to do if you have an infinite loop happening with a recursive workflow where you accidentally didn't set it up correctly. Hopefully these tips were helpful if you're brand new to Bubble. These are things that I wish I knew before I started learning and building in Bubble. If you want to learn more about building in Bubble and you want to learn by building real world projects like building a clone of Reddit or Airbnb, check out the link below and go to nocode.mba, where you can sign up for our unlimited membership and get access to over 60 full project-based tutorials, along with a community of over 4,000 people learning how to build with no code. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.